How's it going, everyone? This is 10 tips that I feel will help you to improve and win at Call of Duty Warzone. If you enjoyed the video and think it may help you, consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more Warzone content. First off, this video I'll be looking at tips to help you in duos, trios and quads, as I don't play solos and I feel that it's a completely different box of frogs to the squads modes, so a lot of these tips probably won't carry over to it. In case any of you are wondering, here are my win stats as of this recording. They may not be in the hundreds or thousands, but I am in the top 0% and pushing for 100 wins soon. With that out of the way, let's get into the tips. Tip number 1. Land in a contract-free zone when possible. As tempting as it may be to land in an area filled with contracts to do, a large amount of the time it will end up with you and your squad embroiled in an early fight with multiple other squads, and most likely an early trip to the gulag for you all. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't be looking to do contracts throughout the rest of the match at all, quite the opposite. Find that quiet area with almost no contracts nearby to loot up and get cash for that early loadout. This gives you a fighting chance to make it to the late game, as most of the other squads will still be fighting over scraps in the higher populated areas. Then head out and start looking for those contracts to earn some dosh. Tip number 2. Know when to engage. Knowing when to engage is something that a lot of people don't even think about. Most of the time you will see a squad just trying to unleash on anyone and anything that moves regardless of their positioning, because they think that they can get some new world record for kills. 9 times out of 10, if you engage a squad in a better position than you, whether that be them having more cover or higher ground, you're going to lose that fight. Sometimes waiting in the shadows or letting another squad head into the zone away from you can be a far better option, as you don't want to get involved in a fight whilst the gas is tickling your butt cheeks. Get to good cover and engage when you have the advantage and watch the bodies hit the floor. Tip number 3. Meta builds won't guarantee you wins. As we all know, at the moment the Grau is the in thing and normally accompanied by an MP5. Whilst it may be highly annoying to see 90% of the lobby running this build, it doesn't guarantee them that sopping wet W that everyone wants. Out of all the wins that I have not once used this build, and normally I am running with teammates who also aren't using it either. It's all about personal playstyle. If you prefer another gun or setup, run with it. You can use the Grau with a scope or a no laser sight. You can take an RPG as a secondary or a sniper. If you feel you are better with something else, don't let the meta squad get you down. Nothing feels better than beating an entire squad that is using the meta build to the victory than using a build you made yourself and hearing them cry. Believe me, I've been there and done it. Tip number 4. The importance of the ghost perk. This tip is a really important one in my eyes. I can't tell you the number of times my squad and I have got the jump on another unsuspecting group who are all running the overkill perk because we have UAVs and heartbeat sensors. This becomes even more important in the late game as a circle closes and makes it that much easier for another group to hunt you down because they have a UAV up and you aren't running Ghost. If you must run with 2 primary weapons, then make sure you have another class set up with Ghost on it for when you grab a second loadout drop, and grab it fast. Going unseen will increase your chances of victory massively. Tip number 5. Know when to revive a teammate. Like me, a lot of you probably don't want to see your teammates die, unless of course they brought it upon themselves. Most people's first instinct when a teammate goes down is to rush and revive them. Most people will then also get dropped. Squads like to capitalise on downs and 9 times out of 10 will rush to finish them off. If you are reviving a teammate as they come round the corner, you're in trouble. Instead, lay down some covering fire for your downed buddy to get into a better position for you to help them, and have others cover you whilst you res them. Alternatively, try and down one of the opposing squad back and they probably won't push you, giving you time to get your mate back up and in the fight. Another thing to note, let your downed teammate crawl all the way into cover. Just because you are in cover, resing them, doesn't mean they are. You cannot move whilst being picked up, and are therefore vulnerable to somebody sniping your legs as they hang out in the open. Tip number 6. Don't get kill hungry. This one puts you in the shoes of the opposing team from the last tip. You have just downed a guy in a firefight and you want to finish him off. We all do. But finishing him off leaves you exposed shooting him to the rest of his squad. Before trying to instantly finish him, make sure it is safe for you to do so. Make sure he doesn't have a buddy rushing you from just around the corner, and only put him out of his misery when you aren't in danger. It's a 50-50 early game as to whether people have a self-revive. He could just bleed out, whilst you keep the rest of his squad away from him. Alternatively, huck an explosive at the poor fellow and speed the process along. Tip number 7. Know when to/not to use vehicles. Vehicles in Warzone are a double-edged sword. They can be your saving grace or your worst nightmare. On one hand, they can speed you into a better position, all whilst giving you away on the minimap to every other squad in the area, making you vulnerable to getting picked off the moment you get out. Sometimes you are going to have to use one, normally when the gas is pushing you and you are miles from the new zone. In these instances, try to pop a trophy system on your vehicle of choice to make it safer for you to ride in without a rocket or C4 blowing you up along the way. On the other side of things, don't use one to move you through the zone if you don't need to. Going on foot is normally a safer option, and it's quieter and helps you to avoid detection. Tip number 8. The importance of pings and callouts. Like every other Battle Royale game, Warzone requires a lot of communication if you want to get a win. You can be the best player in the world and still get killed if you're alone because you didn't call out the location of a squad sneaking up on the rest of your team earlier in the game. Make sure you and your team are calling out anything and everything important and pinging enemy locations wherever possible. Knowledge is power and communication is key. Ping weapons, gadgets and armour whenever possible for your team to help them, but make sure to delete unwanted pings or pings in the middle of battle, as they can make it harder for you and your buddies to see. Nobody likes a screen filled with little red diamonds when they are trying to snipe someone. Tip number 9. Map and minimap awareness. One of the key things to winning in Warzone is knowing where the enemy is as much as possible. Always keep half an eye on the minimap when moving and looting for potential enemies popping up on it. An early warning to an incoming team can turn the tide of battle. When your team puts up a UAV, make sure you are looking at the main map too and pinging off locations of enemies for everyone else to get an idea of the best route to move through or the best place to hold up. Knowing a team is in a certain direction will help make sure you don't get snuck up on later. Also, keep an eye on the positions of vehicles on the map. When you have just seen a team drive by on the minimap, but they went out of sight, try and locate the vehicle when they get out of it and ping it for your team. That way you all know where they went. Tip number 10. Team diversity and encouragements. Whilst having a team of players all using the RPG as a secondary can be funny when it comes to blowing stuff up, it's not practical when you need to assault a team at longer distance. It's therefore important to make sure your team has a diverse range of equipment in battle. For example, 2 players taking snipers, 1 player taking an RPG and another taking an SMG as a backup leads to your squad having the right tools for any situation the Warzone throws at you. When it comes to one of your friends having a tough game, make sure you're keeping spirits high and encouraging them. Belittling somebody because they don't have any kills isn't going to help anyone, and it's more than likely going to make that player play worse and rage quit. As soon as they get that kill or land that sweet sniper headshot, make sure you're telling them well done or nice shot, and they're going to feel better for it. And there you have it, guys and girls. That was my 10 tips to help you improve and win at Call of Duty Warzone. Hopefully some of these help you improve and maybe even get you your first Warzone victory. If you have any other tips you feel are important, maybe leave them in the comments below to help others out. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video helpful and subscribe for more Warzone content. Until next time, guys.